This is a response to Logan's video this week for the Boys and Boys channel. Logan posed 2 questions towards the end of his video. Those 2 questions were, what are 5 things that I hate about life in general? And what is one thing I've always wanted to tell people? I'm going to try to move through this kind of quick without elaborating too much. If anybody has any questions about how I came to these answers, please feel free to ask me and I will elaborate more. For the 5 things I hate. 1. I hate that people think I'm homosexual because of the sexual abuse I suffered as a child. 2. I hate that people think that being transgendered or being homosexual or both is a choice. Maybe there are a few people who have, decided to go a different route or try living life a different way, but I do believe that for the majority of us, that neither one of those are a choice. 3. I hate that I can't find a way to come out to my dad's family as being trans. They're a typically judgmental group of people, really kind of set in their ways, and I don't think that they would take the time to really consider me and my life, and the person I've always been, before being rash and possibly passing judgment. And for whatever reason, I fear their rejection. 4. I hate that I feel guilty for putting myself first at this point in my life and focusing on what I need and what will make me happy, for my life in the future. And I think it's a shame that I have so much guilt and depression around my transition, when all in all I've never been happier. It's a very mixed emotion kind of thing, and it's been very difficult to wrap my brain around it. I've made another video about that situation. If there's more anybody wants to know, drop me a line, ask me a question, whatever, and I'll be glad to answer that for you. The 5th thing that I hate is that transgender people need psych evaluations and months of counseling from typically a therapist that we meet, at a point in our life when we realize that transition is necessary. It's not usually somebody who has known us, from childhood on, or who has seen the struggle we've had throughout life to fit in and, grasp a sense of self-identity in a world that, doesn't offer much up to us. But yeah, I think that it's ridiculous that we have to, see a shrink and get letters from one doctor who really hasn't known us throughout our life in order to go to another doctor that we are just meeting, and who we are paying huge lump sums of cash to for surgery to make us feel more secure in our own skin, or for hormones that make it possible for us to present more as the person we've always been. You know, so-called normal people, if they want a facelift, they don't have to go through counseling. You know, they don't have to see a therapist for a set amount of months, and they don't have to have a letter in order to go pay a surgeon a huge chunk of cash to make them feel better about themselves. So why do trans people have to go through that? You know, all in all, it's change. You know, we change our bodies one way, and your typical plastic surgery patient is changing their body, you know, in another way. And why do we have to jump through hoops to do it when they don't? The next topic: what is one thing I've always wanted to tell people? This one thing has a couple of parts to it, but all in all, it is, you know, one huge statement. And I wrote it down so that I could stay on topic. What is one thing I have always wanted to tell people? Being bipolar is part of me. It does not define who I am, or how I deal with things, or how I make decisions. I'm not transgender or homosexual because of a mental or emotional defect, or because of any trauma in my past. You know, I was just born wrong. I like to look at it as the fact that I have narcolepsy and I fall asleep all the time and don't really have any control over that. You know, I've jokingly told many people that on the 6th week, when God, you know, passed out gender markers and penises, I was asleep and missed my opportunity. So, you know, that's just kind of my own personal humorous way of looking at the situation. But I'm not trans or gay because of a choice I've made in my life. You know, in both circumstances, I was born that way. I can't control it, and, you know, I'm just doing what I have to do to live my life the way I see fit, and a way that will make me happy. So yeah, that's my responses to Logan.